Hey, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Today's gonna be a fairly shorter stream than normal. But that's okay, sometimes short streams are needed. Either way, I am back to streaming, at least for the time being. I didn't have the best of holidays. I was quite ill. There were a lot of them and made me think a lot of things. Mostly what could be causing it. And thankfully it's not what I thought. It's all good. Well, it isn't exactly all good, but it's about as good as it's gonna get. Oh. They haven't even, like, posted what kind of house it is. Wait, a lot of houses in here are closed. Pretty interesting. It's probably people that are, like, buying houses that get them quite recently. And they don't want others to see the inside because they're still working on it. Cause what's the point of the house if you're gonna keep it private?
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Shiva is one of the two people that managed to turn themselves into a primal, which is quite interesting. Her depiction of Shiva is also what she believes Shiva to be. So this is Iceheart's idea of Shiva. It's not necessarily what Shiva was, which just kind of reinforces that anything can be a primal if you believe hard enough. And I wonder what I did with the sound. There we go, back to normal sound. And I am gonna be assuming that I am the person tanking. I don't know what has happened to the meta, but since I came back, both Dark Knights and Paladins are absolutely convinced that they're not supposed to be the main tank. So whenever I'm on my warrior, I'm always main tanking. And sometimes people can be like real dicks. Yesterday I was trying to get my Alpha Escape runs done on my main, just so that I can have gear. And one person, yeah, you're supposed to like stand in the gaps. I'm like, whatever, I'm tanking this. One person was absolutely upset, very upset, that I didn't have a pull macro. And then instead of having a 10-second countdown, I just pulled. And they were a healer, and they were like, you pull without a macro, I kill you. And they did, during one mechanic. Just pulled me directly into a bad attack using rescue, just so that I die. And my response was to be like, well, whatever. You can tank then. It's none of my business. You don't want to, you know, be nice to your tank, then I won't play nice with you. And they wiped, and the party fell apart. But yay, main tanking. In general, when you have enough, you know, of duty finder adventures, you end up doing a thing that's just called hating humanity. It's because you freeze in a shape. You always want to do some sort of pose. Otherwise, it's not as cool. I mean, why wouldn't you pose when you can pose? I swear that person was like running the wrong way around and he was eating every single AoE that's falling instead of avoiding them all. Yay! He was a dead cookie! Unless, of course, we go and do extreme version of her, then she's alive again. An Ice Heart isn't dead. We killed her transformation into Shiva at this particular moment. Hey, Narba! Yeah, it's just Shiva hard. There's no such thing as a normal Shiva. Aw, you look sad. Or tired or hurt. Whichever.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool.
Why would I be doing any extremes today? Hey, Sin.
You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers.
All considering kinda decent. Was fairly ill during the holidays and I burnt my hand today, so I have significant amount of cream on it. But other than that, I'm good.
And they are
I'm alive.
Ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why.
Why are you calling me ignorant? What did I do?
Trapped in a delusion of their own creation and blind to the truth.
Wait, do you need a specific extreme, Anarpa?
Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after.
I swear that is an actual Realm Reborn lyric.
Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift.
She sounds so delusional.
Feel. Think.
And now she's reciting Heidelin. Do not squander mother's gift. How could I do that? Why did you just call me ignorant? Well, I like Shiva because we actually get to know her. Like, during the story, unlike all of the other primals. Yeah, but this character is nowhere near that, is it? I'm good 20 levels behind. So is Garuda.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome.
I swear I heard that voice before.
Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna like stop streaming to go and switch characters to go and spoil the story now, am I?
How unfortunate.
It's kind of like when we get to Alexander rating, I will have to stop streaming altogether because I don't think I'll clear the Heavensward in time. 2. This one is for streaming and for repeating the story again. And the other one is the one that I invested 4.5k hours into, which is my main, where I collect everything and do everything and clear everything on. Hi, the 12! You're alive! I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Barbarians are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see. No, and cat, do not do that. Fair enough. I was only asking. To be fair, I did just perform a thing that had a 50% chance of getting me killed just getting there, so if I came out not alright, I think they would understand. If you ask me, there's naught to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the rising stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. Ah, but before that, you had best pay a visit to Whitefront and speak with Alpinode. He probably worried sick about you. That or he's busy playing at politics with Danish Guardians. Look, Cat, if you wanna go through here, then do so. Just do not step on my keyboard. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no reason. See you again soon! Yeah, Shiva would be like ice cold, but she looks hot. She's cool. That's what she is. She's cool. You mean after dinners and everything? Yeah, I'll find you on Discord. After I make food and stuff. And now, for the whale! I am really surprised that we're not just like meeting somewhere warmer, but we're insistent on meeting with Alpinode here. That's very weird. I thought we were gonna go to the Rising Stones. You only find out if you've been in Shiva. Oh, so do I. This is my Christmas gift from my husband to me. so huge! I have a lot of bot mounts, like Fat Moogle and stuff. Oh, and both of the carbuncles. It's just that the mount in the store has to appeal to me for me to buy it. And flying motorcycle is kind of like, eh. But a giant whale, I'll take a giant whale. Giant whales are cool. Plus, it looks surreal when you're cramming yourself inside of houses. And you go through walls and stuff. Because this geometry was not made for a whale. There she is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I'm pretty sure yes, I had a 50-50 chance. I'm pretty sure everybody knew that. I think I speak for all of us when I say I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. And here I explained things for a good 3 seconds. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of a celebration. And one for which we have Magnanimous to thank. Yes, you're right, of course, Sir Emmerich. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and their ethics have been rooted. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Drillmond, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Hall. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies that the heretics stole from the House Fortem's caravan? Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, and on an unrelated note, Magnanimous, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? Right now would be very convenient, Sir Emmerich. I mean, we're nearly there. It's like 5 steps that way. This not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Ah, is it Harshipond? Men give vent to the anxieties in myriad of ways. Pray do not think any less of them. It's like, no! You can't send her! Look, I can accompany you to Camp Dragonhead very fastly. Accompanied! I hope you can teleport. I'm kind of reminded when coming up to Heavensward when you needed to remember where the last main story quest was. And at the start of Heavensward, when the expansion hit, everybody was like, where's the quest to enter it? Where's the quest to enter it? And now you just have like big button on the corner of your screen. What were you thinking, Magnanimous? Wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have had sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then, engaging the abomination in mortal combat. Mortal combat! Too bad I can't perform fatalities. By the fury, Magnanimous. This is the stuff of ballads. A battle for the ages. Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yes, Hero was forced to wait condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here, now, and that is all what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Amric wished to have words with you and Master Alpinode in private. He awaits us in the intercessory, whatever kind of room that is, or building. Hello, Philippe. Or place, whatever that is. I think that's like a, yeah, it's like a little bricky thing over here. He likes me. We're friends. Greetings, madam. I shall show you in at once.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks.
Are you talking about bloodlines? Was Lily the girl with the red hair and glasses? Did you check first floor of the hospital? Or did I get any of that wrong? It's been a very long time since I played it. On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks.
Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautilon.
Google it. You're either there at the wrong time or you did something beforehand that made the guy disappear. Or you don't have the correct quests. Those would be my guesses. Or you have mods that are like preventing him from existing. But if you're looking for Lily specifically, she should just be, you know, lying on the bed there. Guy there, guy not there.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense.
Yeah, I had the unofficial patch too that shouldn't, like, stop anything from existing.
All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy.
Is there any chance that you went past that point in the main story and that's why she's not there? And you're just like too far along?
You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard-Zoma could return?
I gotta say that this is like the most polite and emotionless conversation so far.
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people have weird hobbies.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's toll were taken by your enemies.
I mean, by profession, until I quit my job, I was a software developer. And currently I'm here sitting playing games. While showing myself on the camera. How weird is that?
Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Aw, you got pretty far in your career there. That's good.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights?
An angry, evil, bad man?
Comes from good stock.
Ah.
I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is?
Because they like you?
Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
Well, it's an MMO that I'm currently chronicling. Because the last time I waited to chronicle an MMO, I had 3 months to do so before it shut down. So I'd rather have all of Final Fantasy XIV's story on hand before that happens. If you liked Bloodlines, I do recommend playing Vampire. I have played that one before, that one's pretty good. I have dabbled in other vampire games, and I actually kickstarted one of them. But that one's not out till like at least midway through 2019. And a lot of other ones were slightly disappointing. Oh, and there's always Redemption, in case you like the precursor to those kind of games. I recommend that too. I think I played most vampire games on the market.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light.
I have found a lot of good recent games. For example, if you like really old RPGs, Pillars of Eternity is a good one. I haven't done Divinity Original Sin yet, but it is in my Steam library waiting for me to play it.
Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
It's okay, Alpinode. You look like you're like 9 years old. I think everybody understands when you have outbursts.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service.
I'm mostly amazed that she's not even an elf, and she's second in command to him.
Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences.
But
those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately.
Cat! that?
Also relay to her any words you might have for me alone.
It's more that they're portraying very high society. And they're very reserved. Ishgardian way.
Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefon, if you would be so kind?
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem.
I accept your empty palm.
The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
While looking away like a little shy
Ishgard
boy.
may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Ah, look who's proud of himself now. It's always quite funny about how many times that they needed the animation for handing an item. But they never put an item in their hand. So, it always looks really wrong. What's my current? Oh yeah. Ugh. That's fine. I was like, why isn't the thing an upgrade? It's like, oh yeah, I already have a 10-10 weapon. My gear is actually good enough as it is for everything. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat and our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are great ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then, if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon primals, but her civilized peoples as well, any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. Well, but if anyone can summon a goddamn primal, then surely Imperials can summon one too, right? So you're gonna... Hello. You're gonna have this very weird issue where nobody trusts each other because you may have a primal up your sleeve, mister. But essentially how it works, if you truly believe in anything, and you have enough crystals, you can summon it. Oh. Sorry about that. I mean, I'm kind of sorry about you maybe going to war. War's not a nice place to be. Or before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Magnanimous, it is better that we continue this conversation in Mardona, and not in front of some random house Fortem's gatekeeper. I mean, who knows who is a spy? Like, I have some friends in Ukraine, and they're living through war, and that's not very nice. The country is not very stable. And at the same time, my husband, his best friend went to the army to serve as a sniper, and it really messed him up. He came back with severe PTSD just a few years later. And he was crashing at my husband's family's place for quite a while because he had nowhere to live and his wife left him, and life's cruel. Meanwhile, my cat's just like yelling its lungs out in the back room. I'm currently living in England, but I'm from Lithuania originally. No. Europe.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it.
Let me sum up my account in 3 seconds and a few hand
summon the others at once.
gestures. Yes, everybody must be here, so that I can gesture at all of you at the same time.
Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog XII was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
That sounds so bad. She's just special. And this apartment is a cat's heaven, for I have 5.
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not, but full sure am I that she was groomed for this role.
It is actually very hard to record a 10-minute video with all the cats being perfectly quiet, let alone a stream. So every stream, pretty much, at least one of my cats is in it.
Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
No!
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
For what? To fight Garuda again?
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think.
It's what Hydaelyn says!
Hydaelyn speaks to her as well.
Oh shit!
Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo. She will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth.
Cats are also the secret to having a furry snuggle. For when we wake up, there's at least 2 cats on the bed at the same time. So you can always pat one.
Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
So you suggest that I should seek the Keeper of the Lake?
Midgard Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for
5
centuries on end.
5
Dead and
cats.
his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so.
2 females, 3 males, 4 neutered, and the male that keeps on wailing around and wants to fuck things only had 1 ball, hence why his neutering didn't proceed as planned. So the doctors just say to keep him as is.
Iceheart.
What is it?
Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard Zoma.
Oh?
I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Not all of them are! I like cats. To be fair, if I had a bigger place, like, you know, an actual 2-bedroom place, I would want a dog as well. I mean to scour the annals for knowledge of Midgar Zormir. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Hmm? Do you hear that? The commotion outside. Would you see if aught is amiss? He's not hungry. He's either looking for a place to lie down and is annoyed that other cats have already taken it, or he wants to play. I had a Yorkshire Terrier, and my Yorkshire Terrier was very dumb, yes, but would like a bigger, energetic dog to take for walks as well. Magnanimous! It is well that you're on hand. We have a problem. Roaille has escaped. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the commotion was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. Displaying she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Roaille quitting the city via Gate of Nald with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for Castrum Meridianum, I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and First are hot upon Roaille's heels. Pray make haste to Camp Blue Frog and join the hunt. Are we absolutely sure that A, she ran this way, and that B, we should be chasing her, considering that she escaped Ul'dah a long time ago and you're only receiving the message now? Well, a long time ago, maybe only be a few hours, but still, you had to, like, carry that word by actual word of mouth. Camp Blue Frog, where is that? That's in Northern Tongwar. If I was going there by footsies, it would take me quite a long while to get there. So by the time I got there, she would be a lot further, wouldn't she? And if we're so sure that she's going to Meridianum, why not just position right outside of it? My thanks for coming, Scion. Stop calling me a Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Roaille walked through the camp not a bell ago. Ah, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Roban's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. And so here we are. Roaille must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridianum. What? Oh, we get to infiltrate Castrum Meridianum again? It's not like we haven't done so once already. You know what? I have the powers of teleportation. And it's cheap enough. Woo! Ooh, I see a word saying invite. I am gonna assume... I am gonna follow that person because I am gonna assume we're running towards an A rank, a B rank, or an S rank. Yeah, that is A rank. That is certainly A rank. So we can also say invite. And we can like kill it with other people. Why miss the opportunity to be social when we can't be social, eh? Your ranks are world hunts and they give you a currency and you can claim nice things from it. That's why people do them. However, I cannot tell the difference between A ranks, B ranks, and C ranks. I mean, B ranks are made for one person, A ranks are made for a small group. I'm gonna assume that that was an A rank. Because we did receive quite, you know, an amount that would suggest that this was for a small group. And then there's this C ranks, or S ranks to be specific. And they are just these worldly monsters that are meant to be taken down by many people. And there we go, we have 40 elegant seals. Yay us. Don't think you can get anything for 40, but you can get things for things. And ooh, an actual little level to play. This French was with Roaille. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own, the goddamned harpy. With me, Scion, we'll almost have her. I swear, one day I'm gonna kill that guy, and hopefully legitimately. For I always feel like some sort of second-rate citizen when you go Scion. Like, I have a name. I have a name. Should I just like call you Crystal Dude? With me, Crystal Dude. I am gonna just do the ads and consider that that's a good thing to start with, because the less ads to deal with, the more of the NPCs can focus on the lady. And as the more NPCs fight the lady, the easier she should be to kill. There we go. Everybody's on her for this tiny amount of time. And they're back. I really hate death claws. I hope that at least one of you can heal, or else you'll start losing guys. Well, you can heal. So hey, you brought something to the fight that's smart to bring, a healer! Oi, Colossi! Over here! Yoo-hoo! I can eat those hits a lot better than the NPCs can. Over here. Everybody here. Away from the NPCs. Ah, Yugiri's here. That's nice. Thank you for bringing reinforcements, milady. I mean, she also brought reinforcements. Let me make this go faster, okay? More than earned my coin already. He says, I don't actually understand what coin has with her life, but suppose she has earned the coin indeed. Can you all just... it's actually subscription-based MMO, and it's one of the best ones on the market right now, actually. Because normally MMOs have inferior story to single-player RPGs, so this one is fairly good at that. Find her and do it right. Yes, sir. Good work, men! She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Happy New Year, Toriyama! Behold a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. Snort, what would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your gods given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-born Ishgardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive, stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine. The fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Roban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. Happy New Year and have a tasty. How are we any different then? It's true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth. And it's true that we were both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marcia, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it's that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Alda to face justice and people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. And she will be numbed. Just, you know, big sister appearing and going, nom. Not so much as a hint of remorse. The swell that this sordid business is finally at an end. Friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Ruban chose his. To be fair, Alpinode is quite annoying in his opinions and feelings.
I heard. Truly bothersome business.
Because he is just a small boy. The game says that he's 16. He looks younger.
No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roaille. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend.
And here we have an evil midget scheming. Me? Lithuanian, close.
Trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while.
Alpinode. He and his sister are of the same age, and from the main cast of characters, I do believe that they're the youngest.
Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
God, that dude's voice is so creepy. Pray be a good little Sultana to the last. On the upside, I am of a good size to just kind of punt him with my foot. Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Roaille, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Menphilia of what had happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Roaille in high regard. For better or worse, she will want to know that how this tale ends. I gotta remind the game that at the very start of the game, you get this little device called a link pearl. And it works like a human cell phone. It's like a tiny little thing that lets you call your friends. And every single time we had to tell something to our friends instead of calling them on said link pearl, we ran all the way to either Waking Sands or now the Rising Stones. It would be kind of like, tell John that lunch is ready. John is currently in his workplace, 15 minutes away from home. You have a choice to phone John, or you have a choice to go there by foot and go, John, lunch is ready. John would ask, why didn't you use your phone?
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphino.
And Alphino sends us to tell her in person while he calls her on the phone.
To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Reborn, Eileen lent us much needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters.
It is almost as if people can have more than one interest in life, and even if they're horrible human beings in a single instance of life, they could have been passionate about all the other subjects. For example, Hitler was a great painter.
I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trap scions in a multitude of different Auracites that are gonna be transmitting the scion soul one from another. Oh wait, we're scions. Ascians. I meant Ascians. We're not trapping our own souls. That would be a silly thing to do.
Draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
So essentially, if you hit them hard enough, they won't get up again.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Hebrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Hebrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands.
She could have just called up everybody and said, oh hey, Ascians are killed with a lot of ether.
As it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
You see, Heidelin is a fickle god. She picks and chooses her fights.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
From your soul, Papalimo.
What if we had two pieces of white auracite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
'Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the auracite. And I could do with some help. Eorzea, why don't you lend me a hand?
I am absolutely amazed at her bravery to wear such a short skirt, by the way. Like, when your thighs do this, that means that your, you know, private region is like pretty much right over here.
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
I like how they're two old friends that know each other and he's very embarrassed about her for a reason.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least.
2 expansions in, and we have still not seen the Sharlayan motherland. I would really love to know where it is and how it looks like.
According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
So what's instead of an isle, then? Ocean? Literal black hole?
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. it hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
So did they accidentally compress the space that they were in?
All indications suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the one true God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
It's quite interesting because I remember Kryl. You do get to interact with Kryl through the main scenario. I don't remember if there was literal any importance placed on the Baldessians or Isle of Wall or whatever they were even researching. It's kind of like this plot point that just was like, pew, and gone.
Calamity. The forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
How do you pronounce her name? Huayu?
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald.
I read Roaille. You're saying Huayu.
But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash.
It's not like ash is exactly useless. It's still land. You can still go back and occupy it.
Figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Deliverance from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
What is it? What is it? How? Silly cat. Yeah, you're a silly cat. A very silly cat. He's even waking his brother up.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Voris Zos Galvus.
If you're not following any of the Garlean names, just so you know, neither am I.
So he was Huayu's true master.
but one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea.
So, is her name actually Huayu?
In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
A triple agent, if you consider that she was also in your domain.
Huh, triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
Oh, so quadruple.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
The plot is so thick that I have completely lost it.
I lost a trusted friend. Now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Ah! Why you? Great name! Why you? But instead of actually spelling it as why you, let's write down Roaille, so that it looks at least a little bit more normal.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
That was the longest conversation that could have been summed up as we're gonna interrogate the prisoners now. I mean, you were trying to explain to me the history of Garlemund and who's the current ruler is and what kind of issues they're having. You see, my issue is that I don't care about Garlemund enough to care.
Made to dance to their tune.
Josh! Shush! Shush! You have your favorite spot now. You can lie down.
How could you, Huayu? How could you side with those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve? I know you can hear me, monitorous scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! One day I will purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
This performance was brought to you by Roban, as he yells to himself and roars, alone in a room.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace.
Aw, her fake food looks so nice.
I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
You see, it's kind of upsetting. My body decided to reject sugar at all levels. So whenever I eat anything very sweet, I get very nauseous for a very long time. And the last time I made myself sick, I was eating apple pie. And I so miss apple pies. And she looks like she has a pie in front of her and I'm like, I want it so bad. It will make me so sick.
Ever since he proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees.
Oh, look, she has cookies! And a muffin! And a pie!
The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
Apple pie is the bestest. I really enjoyed that apple pie and then I vomited it out.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the syndicate?
Is there like anyone else at this table right now? For you always like show one person at a time and you're like, oh, okay, so she's having conversation with just one person and then suddenly Merleweeb.
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away.
I know that that is probably tea, but that color suggests soup to me. I don't know why.
Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It's the duty of a ruler to protect this right.
And that looks like a wonderful little plate of mushed salad. I don't know what else it may be. Wait. I didn't mean to press anything.
If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly.
No, some cutscenes are just super long.
Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
At the end of all Realm Reborn quests, there's gonna be like a 40-minute cutscene. And I think they're shorter in the expansions, but at the end of either the whole leveling experience, so any number 0.0, or at the end of the patch update cycle, which is normally any number 0.5 something, you tend to have like this big, huge wrap-up thing with a new cliffhanger to get you involved. So those big, huge wrap-up things tend to be super long. So this one isn't even the longest.
Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped, but as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Ul'dah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
I'm surprised that there's food in here when there's not even a chair. My character doesn't. This is just the random happenings of the world.
Dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together.
In Stormblood, there's even like a few instances when you play as different people.
Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
Like here, viewer. This is where you would sit if there was a chair.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few.
Well, there's specific missions where they force you to play different people.
The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
Essentially, she's coming to the conclusion that she needs to give her crown away.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here.
I would actually love a main scenario where I play as a bear.
When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Roban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Unless, of course, somebody takes over your city and renames it.
Are you certain of this?
It will still be strong, though.
No other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people.
Gotta say, most countries in our world at the moment are a democracy. That doesn't mean that politicians are not disconnected from real people.
Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
You could at least eat that pie, though. I mean, look at that beautiful food just lying in front of you. And you're like, nope, must not touch it. Ah! Sorry, Minfilia, I have daydreamed there and thought I was seeing other people's lives. I am most eager to address the Ascian threat, however we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you not forget, Antecedent, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? True, we were presented with a multitude of problems, however we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Magnanimous in particular is ever the steadying hand, who I trust will continue support the Braves. You see, nobody else does anything, but we just rotate Magnanimous around all the issues while she fixes them. To what do we owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Ul'dah? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Adelegi and his monetarist ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Roban needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And I am just like standing there, just staring at a wall. Warrior of Light, you agree? What did they tell me to do again? And so, for the foreseeable future, I think it would be for the best if I were to remain in Ul'dah, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here well in hand. Manbrita's research is progressing as planned? So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Urianger is poring over his tomes at the Walking Sands, and others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Magnanimous, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alpinode and his braves with theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the immortal flames, and the Warrior of Light has been working on their behalf. Yeah, and people just like mouth the words at her, and she's all like, I know what you're saying, for there's subtitles. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure, such as receiving Roaille's latest report. As proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others will kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Uldar riots. When you're finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you once more in the usual fashion. You mean you will actually call me and not walk to me in person, as I always do? So, remember that we're currently like 20-something quests away from Heavensward. And knowing just how many things they have to unravel in those 20-something quests, you can see that this portion of the game was paced absolutely horribly, because everything almost happens at once, outside of happening in the 100 quests before it. Pleasure as always, Magnanimous. You'll be escorting the commander to Uldar, I take it? Actually, I have another task in mind for her. If you would be so kind as to repeat your report for her benefit. Right then. Me and mine been making inquiries into the source of the weapons who found their ways into refuge hands a ways back. Me and mine? You mean I, me, and the other me? So happens we caught wind of something promising, a rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near High Bridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting, clients that for whatever reason would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Brings to mind the merchant who caught an arrow while taking to Magnanimous, doesn't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, it might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Magnanimous? I say nothing, I nod. Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at High Bridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Uldar. I expect good tidings. This is literally... Excuse me, sir! You have ordered too many weapons. What are you gonna be doing with them? For we are suspicious, and suspicious we are. I was just reading what my guildies were doing. No, let's not summon that one. Let's use our giant mount. The giant mount day. I mean, these babies cost like 17 pounds each, so I get to have a lot of use out of them. And a lot of people were talking about all of the games that they were playing. Swift did a lot of Final Fantasy, and he was like, my character's actually at eye level. I think it's 360. Yeah, that sounds about right. Eye level 360. I've been doing so much Final Fantasy, I've caught up now. Everybody else is like, nah, we were playing a lot of other games. Magnanimous. My scouts have been keeping a close eye on the Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard. Common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize. This is far beneath a woman of your standing, and Commander Livier needn't to have dispatched you hither. But powerful men have a need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, it's only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape, with me, Magnanimous. I have to stand here and wait until they move out. And then I can move out. I'm being so respectful. He goes, with me, Magnanimous, and I'm just not budging. And he goes, with me? Come with me. This way. Follow me. And I'm still standing there. So he runs off and goes, whatever, I'm going on my own. And then my brain clicks. Must follow. Coming through, people of the cave! I spy the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men and I will slip past and catch the Black Marketeer unawares. Once you disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, my friend. Hello, Katsisi, and whatever you just said, same to you. Unless, of course, you also own animals that love sitting on keyboards, like I do. Who goes there? An adventure? Damned fool, you should have never come here. World War E. Yes. Are you having a stroke? By any chance? I'll take that as a maybe. One dies, another one reappears. And then he dies, and then probably another one reappears. No? You sure? We done here? Okay then. Proceeding then, I am. I don't understand. What is this all about? Grrr! I'm coming to the screaming voice. Oh. You just killed them? That wasn't nice. How are we supposed to investigate when you kill people? You can see this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard and to bring out an experienced recruit. Commander Lavier will be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though we know not how, they slipped past our perimeter. At present, the first currently tracking a party of Duskwhite sellswords we suspect may be them. That is a lot of reading. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the Immortal Flames or the Brass Blades. Alas, we're here to aid them, they're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least, we have secured the weapons, yet even that accomplishment is lacking, for the information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. So, because I wasn't actually here to see what happened, just assuming that you went on a killing spree is about as good as assuming that what you said is true. Yeah, I still have some tea. And I actually have a giant... what is this? Yeah, that's a bottle. Bottle of water! Next to me as well. It's still a lot of reading. I will join the first in their hunt for the Duskwhite sellswords. If the goods are good, if the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask you to deliver these weapons to Alda in my stead, and trust them to the thirds. Yu Hayes. I will call you Yu Hayes. He will take care of the rest. Okay, let's not port out without taking the crate. Actually, I have alcohol next to me as well, but my body has been also completely refusing it. It's like I am not allowed to have bad habits, my stomach says. Which is sad. I wanna have some bad habits. Bad habits are fun. No, I may not. I nearly ran two completely different directions and both were wrong. Ah, the Warrior of Light, ever reliable friend to the Crystal Braves. You have my deepest thanks for your assistance in Corythus. Now what brings us to us today? Except my own stomach, which will be like, you're ill for 2 days now. And I'm like, I only took a spoonful of whiskey? I only licked a tiny bit of sugar. Why are you doing this to me? A gift of weapons from a certain black marketeer, courtesy of Captain Nilbert, you say? Understood. Once we catalog the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. Cannot be everything, can it? Roaille stated with confidence that there would be far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood. Clearly, Roaille is unfamiliar with the ways of Ul'Dan merchants, who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that his information was not completely erroneous and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. But we got the wrong merchant and he was murdered by one of us. Still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we got more important things to worry about, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if I have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch, not to see glory in battle. If you have no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to the cerulean processing plant. Time for the fourth to earn their keep, eh? Fight well, Alian, for the freedom of us all. She already said that there's no fighting to be done. Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured the immortal flames will hear of your contribution until we meet again. I am not resting assured that that was a work well done, because I have a feeling that something went completely and terribly wrong. Magnanimous, a word if you please here. Not here. Look for me at Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time, don't you worry. Think he suspects foul play too. There's a lot about the Crystal Braves that I do not trust, but that's experience talking. Thanks for indulging me request. Few places better than a market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and bustle of commence means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the Burning Wall, when you and Captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything, leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. Those Duskwites, they were chasing, latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself? Not before the fighting started and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boasts. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've never deciphered a moneylender's books or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Because these days the money flows like water and the first and the third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend, I have a lot on my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending an ear. Right, then, best you get back to it. Anonymous, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you're able. Ah! Multiple plots thicken. I assume it's multiple anyway. I don't know. I mean, I was always okay at reading, and I think I garble about the same amount of information as I did normally. And I still can't read unusual names. Yes, Tataru. Thank you for coming so quickly, Magnanimous. We have guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you, a most, determined lady, by all indications. Our guest is with the antecedent in the solar at the present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we? That's what you summoned me for? conversation! But anyways, we're gonna continue this when we come back. And when we come back is when I can stream some more. And I don't know if my husband has a day off tomorrow or not, but I think he either has it on tomorrow on Friday or tomorrow on Friday. Actually, it's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, it is on tomorrow on Friday. So yeah, I will likely be back Saturday. I am thinking very intently if there's anything else I need to do on Saturday. No, I do not think so. So, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next Saturday.